Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. This will be a channel where I go around my local area analyzing disc golf courses and what makes them special. For the first video, I wanted to start small to kind of get my feet on the ground for what this is going to look like. So I went to Olin College of Engineering. Now the thing I want to highlight about this course is that this is a really great course for beginners. The hole layouts are not super short, but they're all relatively friendly and have a lot of good teaching moments for you. So to illustrate that, I'm going to be playing 2 rounds for you, one with my dominant hand, my right hand, and the other with my left hand to show you kind of more how a new player might perform at this course. I'm going to take you hole by hole, giving you a breakdown on the tee pad and some commentary in between based on what situations I run into. So I hope you enjoy and I hope you learn something. This is hole 5 at Olin College. It is a par 3, kind of a mid-length for the type of course this is, 281 feet. You're down in this drainage ditch, so it's a little bit uphill, kind of in a sneaky way. You can't really tell from the tee. Newer players are going to be probably throwing at least 2 shots, one to about the ridge here, and the second one to the basket, while experienced players actually may have some trouble with this hole. I have some trouble because it's kind of the anti-woods hole. I am great at hitting gaps, aiming for targets I can see, which I can't see the basket, but you really are in an open field here until you hit the trees behind the basket. So you need to do a good job at picking a plan and sticking to it. A lot more wind than I bargained for. I guess I'll go with a mid-range for a lefty. Oh, it's high. Well, if you're ever at Olin and you're not sure where to go next, just look for the suspicious dirt patches. There aren't really any tee pads here. There are no tee pads here, actually, but there are worn down dirt patches that'll tell you where to go. Or you can just get UDisc and use GPS, and it's a lot simpler. I guess I could try a forehand. Lefty forehand? How do I guess I go standstill, right? Oh, that's early. That's the nice thing about this course being an open field course. You can make those mistakes and you're not just like punished by being so far in the woods. You know, I'm still on the grass over there and I have another chance to redeem myself and, you know, master that shot as a new player. I think this is too long to putt actually, so I'm gonna throw. And it's grip locked. Good roll. Shorts. Oh, that's terrible. No problem. These are literally the tiniest tee signs I have ever seen. There's your obligatory Olin style dirt patch, and here is your tee sign. Kind of cute, kind of homely, but easy to miss. Hole 6 is a par 3, 273 feet. It is a pretty stock shot if you have a right fading shot. For me, that's my forehand. The road is not OB because there is no tee sign. But if you want it to be OB, you can certainly do that. This hole is usually clear, but today there's some soccer goals, which kind of make the hole more interesting. It kind of gives you, actually makes it easier for me because like I said before, I like having kind of less options. And on open field holes, I kind of get overwhelmed by choice and overthink things. So being forced to kind of go around them can help me shape the shot that I'm going to choose for this hole. This might be the prettiest disc I bag. I bought it a couple months ago, Clash Ginger. I'm hoping it'll beat it and be a little bit more straight with some glide, but for now it's pretty beefy. Good for this shot. Come on, swing in. That's short. That is pretty darn good. I'm gonna try a driver with the lefty. This is my Mantis, my most understable fairway driver. Oh, I did the one thing you can't do. No, I didn't, because I got lucky. Thank you, tree. It is so interesting that we have to play this fairway twice. We're on hole 6 right now, and we're gonna actually be over pretty close to the road, going backward this way toward that basket over there. And the fairway feels completely different depending on the direction you're going. Also the fact that the other hole is 100 feet longer. Oh my God. I am so bad at this. For reference, because I don't even think you saw that. I am now over here. I'm getting those really good rolls. It's in with no spin. And that's tapping. Well, that was fun being in the open fields, but we are now heading into some more hostile environments. We're not really thickly in the woods for this next hole, but we're definitely going to be having less of a safety net if we do shank our shot right or left. We have woods on both sides for hole 7. It's the only really true par 4 at Olin, arguably hole 3 depending on the day, the player. This is a proper par 4. It's, 450-ish feet, and it definitely feels like a really solid disc golf hole. You have the overhanging branches kind of in the middle of the fairway. You have a fun little drainage ditch that can provide some funky footing if you land there. And then you have the road on the right, which really shapes the hole nicely. It makes it look almost painting-like. The bigger ones will definitely have a shot at eagle here. It's not that far of a hole, especially if you have that big beefy hyzer. I can't quite reach this one. All right, it's time to get aggressive. I'm gonna try to hyzer flip my scorch kind of toward the sky and have it fade just before those trees and hopefully have a 100-foot upshot. That is inside. Oh boy. Oh my God. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. And I turfed it. This board's frustrating. That is the best shot I've had lefty all day, and it's still in the woods. This is why I don't take new players to wooded courses, because it's just this, like every hole. Yay! Well, I landed right in this ditch I mentioned. It's a little bit soft, not quite gonna like eat your shoe up, but it's bordering on mud. Feels like a week since I've thrown with my right hand. This is a fun little scramble shot. Oh, that's way short. Oh, getting my own head. This is the majestic tunnel that could be either the path between a hole that doesn't exist yet and this hole, or a hole itself. So if you want more disc golf at Olin, let someone know. A little short, but more confident. I have a really hard time judging distance on this basket. I'm not sure why. It might just be because it's in the middle of the path or something. Like I said before, I do really well when there's reference points around where I'm aiming, and there's kind of nothing here. So I left that short, one, because I'm bad at putting today, and two, because I guess I didn't really know how far it was. And that's what separates the pros from people like me. What is this, my 5th, 6th shot? I frankly don't know anymore. That'll work. Hole 8 is both the shortest hole on the course and the most thickly wooded. It is just over 200 feet, 220 I think, and it's a gap. Newer players are going to be in the woods. There's no getting around that. New players have a really hard time placing this in the fairway because they usually can't reach the basket. But it's a good teacher for scrambling. There's a lot of open paths there, so you're not, totally in jail. You might be up against a bush or two, though. Experienced players are going to have a nice little ace run here, and that's what I'm hoping for today. Ah, I hit the tree. Sapling. I was coming in hot, actually. Wow. Pin high. What is the most reliable way for me to put this in the fairway? I have no clue. Come on, fade. Nope, it's a pilot. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. Halfway up the fairway, a lot of lanes over there. I'll be fine. We have another T sign casualty. Got a assuming this is, yep. That was once the number 8. I did forget about this. This is a wetland to the left, so you don't want to go too far left. I was fortunately able with my lefty shot to get, I think you can see it there, just past it, so I won't be getting my feet wet today. Unless hole 2 has anything to say about that. Oh, Olin. Oh, you. I knew it was coming. Every round. Gotta have at least one. That was a perfect putt. And that is why baskets are made to have more than 12 chains. Hole 9 is a really interesting hole. It's only 225 feet, but there's a lot going on here. You have to start off hitting an initial gap that's pretty reasonable for pro players, but amateur players are going to have a really hard time getting out of the gap and may end up having to scramble early in the woods. As for after the gap, you have a really interesting hill with some concrete paths before and after it. If you want an added challenge, you can make those OB, and that'll make this hole a lot more interesting. You can see the basket kind of barely poking up just above the hill, and with the building in the background, this is a really beautiful and well-framed hole. Dare I say a signature hole at Olin College. I really like this one. A little bit right. Fun fact, overstable discs fade. Nope. There's that amateur mistake. Well, if you haven't scrambled yet, you certainly are now as a new player. I do really like this hole for teaching scrambling because obviously we're in the woods right now, but we're not completely surrounded. We're not just like hopelessly trapped over here. You still have a lot of avenues, but you do need to contend and think about what's around you. Like, am I going to hit this? Am I going to hit this tree over here? Make sure you have a full swing before attempting something. Well, I'm out. A little more Anheuser than I bargained for. That was fun. And looping back around to the beginning, hole 1 is a par 3 at 281 feet. It's actually a really technical hole. It feels like a straight shot, but unless you can throw a dead straight shot reliably, you're gonna have to make some decisions here. I love the turnover backhand for the righty play, kind of turning late and then riding the edge of the wood line. Beginners are going to try and just get to the bottom of the hill and then pitch up for their 3. I've also seen the forehand work, but you kind of are fading parallel to the wood line, which makes it harder to place a shot unless you have a really good one. If you do want to throw a stock hyzer as a righty with a righty backhand, you are going to take on some trees there. There's a gap for you to hit, which is definitely doable, but you might hit a tree. A lot of different ways to attack this one. It's a really, really well-designed hole. And of course, if you want the added challenge, make that road OB, and you're going to have a really bad time. If I can get this to go straight, that's a good shot. That goes for all beginners. If you get an understable mid-range to go straight, you're doing something right. Just what this hole does, it makes you think. Sometimes you think too much, and you end up here. This is not good. This is the flippiest disc I have. I don't know where this is gonna go. No power, but that's where I wanted to be. Oh yeah, one feature I forgot to mention with this hole are the light poles. Especially when you're in this spot, you might hit those light poles. You have to be very careful and pick your line. Or I'll cut roll into the ground and have a long putt. This hole is a lot more hostile than you might think. I actually just watched some people play through here and they were all over the place. Mostly because of the hills and stuff. Like, this hole's got some teeth. That looked real good. Can't do that reliably yet. Hole 2, par 3, 201 feet, baby's first water carry. For experienced players, you're gonna have a pretty easy time getting over the water. It's gonna be basically an approach stock left fading hyzer. For new players, you're going to want to think about where to place your disc. You want to place it in a safe spot, all the way on the right, away from the water, and then on your second or even third, go over safely and see if you can take an easy par or bogey without getting any penalty strokes. But also, if your disc does end up going in the water, you're probably going to be able to get it back. None of these pools are shallow. Sometimes they're not even there, depending on if it's dry or not. And there's a bunch of sticks in the woods that you can grab your disc with. So it's a great introduction to water holes. Really gets that fear factor. Not ideal. You want to be further left. That slope can be very dangerous. If you hit that slope with too much, with the wrong angle or too close to the water, you're gonna roll into it. So I got pretty lucky there. Oh, that's perfect. We have quite the sad basket here. That is not upright. Another friendly roll. Woo! This course just needs a little TLC, a little maintenance here and there. Better T signs, maybe some T pads if people are feeling brave. Sheet of rubber, I don't know. And please, straighten your baskets. I really love the fact that this course doesn't shy away from the fact that you're on a college campus. Which, you know, that's less of a choice and more of a happy accident usually, but I like that we get to walk, you know, next to all these buildings and see the other paths and people walking around. All right, on to the bomber hole, hole 3, par 3, somehow, for this level of course, at 360 feet. It's out of reach for most players, even most intermediate players. This is one I can get on a good day. Today's been a mediocre day, so we'll see how that goes. Now, another reason I love holes like this, especially on relatively easy courses, is that it doesn't really matter what you throw. As long as you're relatively in the fairway and you can take a par, then you can take a par. But what this leads to is an opportunity to try something new. You know, if you know you have to work on your backhand distance because you're a forehand player like me, this is a good time to do it. And if you screw up, you're probably going to be okay. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do here. A little soft, a little early on the release. I can do better. That's about the shot you're looking for from a new player. Better to be right than left here. And I was lucky enough to land right between these soccer goals, leaving me a wide open approach. Lower, and that would have been perfect. I got a better idea. Haven't cracked the code on lefty putting. And a 1, and a 2. And we are back where we started. That's the basket for 5, first hole we played, and we are going all the way down there. Perched on the hillside right between where the drainage ditch ends and the woods begin. This is a really, really well-designed hole. Hole 4, par 3, 295 actually, close to 300 feet. This hole is frankly harder when it's in bloom. This tree, assuming it's alive, which I think it is, does not have leaves yet. When it does, this low ceiling shot is going to get a whole lot lower. You're starting really pinched off over here on this Olin style dirt patch, and you want to pump an overstable driver that's going to skip left into a basket that you cannot see. It's a very specific shot, but a really satisfying one if you can pull it off. As for beginners, Do not try to cut this corner. Play into the drainage ditch, play it safe, and take an easy 3. Better that than in the woods. Well, that's really safe. Too safe. Oh. I found the one hazard in the drainage ditch. Amazing. Well, not counting trees, there is one obstacle for you to avoid in this entire section of the course. And this is it. Oh, this is rough. Or not. Or not. This course is just so friendly, in my opinion. It's also one of the only courses around. So there's not a lot of options, but like, compared to the beginner layouts at like Dacey or Hawkins, I think Borderland has something. It's just so much friendlier. Like, that was a bad drive and you're still left with options to get up and down for par. It doesn't say, oh, we're gonna make you take a bogey, which is, you know, the right way to do it on a harder layout, but for beginners, you wanna give them more chances. You wanna say you can do it instead of, haha, you suck. No. That's sad. Got it. So, those are my thoughts on Olin College, one of the best courses around because it's one of the only courses around. You know, as much as I give this course some flack for, you know, thin chains on baskets, some of the baskets are tipping over and the tee signs might need a little TLC. You know, I don't know how this course came to be, but I think the course designer really knew how to design disc golf holes. Every hole has a pretty well-defined shot in mind that you need to throw. Some other options on certain holes like hole 1, fun water carry on hole 2, a really cool low ceiling on this hole, hole 4. And you know, every hole has a story to offer. Every hole can teach you something. Like I've been saying, this is a great course for beginners to take your skills to the next level, from beginner to intermediate. I think it's a really underrated course. It's really lowly rated on UDisc, and you know, there's a lot to offer here. And my favorite part about this course is because there's usually not a lot of people here, you can just make your own holes. I don't know, start across the road over there if you want. Give yourself a 200-foot upshot, practice, have some fun with it. So those are my general thoughts on Olin College. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.